405 in Mulholland just about 40 minutes ago. And this pursuit has gone up through the valley, down into Hollywood, and now we're on surface streets in the North Hollywood area, Magnolia and Backman.
I have to say, Mark, I just looked at Rutabaga. You can hear helicopters over the studio right now. This is so close to where we're located at Magnolia and Lankershim in North Hollywood.
Oh. This is not good.
No, in the middle of an intersection, trying to get away. I do, Mark, want to ask you, you said those 6 ground units were getting in position. I haven't seen any ground units at this point in time, just still the air response. Do we know where that's at right now?
Well, that was actually when they were in the Hollywood area. Those were Hollywood division units that were preparing to get into position. Now they're back in the valley. This car has moved back and forth through LAPD division so quickly in the last 30 minutes that the air commander has been working with all of the divisions to get the proper units behind. There's no danger of, I think, the air unit losing sight of this car. They are concerned at the very dangerous driving and whether or not ground units would even be able to safely keep up with this car. So there's certainly LAPD units in the area. They're ready to move in quickly should this end and everyone get out and run, or should they just pull over and stop. But I think in terms of seeing lights and sirens directly behind this car, we may not see that anytime soon.
Okay.
Based on just how much traffic there is and how dangerous this driver is engaging.
And the other people in the car as well, right?
Well, that's right. I mean, there certainly may be as many as 4 other people in this car besides the driver. The LAPD air unit says that they have information that there are 2 women and 3 men in this car. They didn't clarify where that information came from, if that was visual or perhaps some other kind of information that they had from another law enforcement agency about how many people were in there. But we certainly, with KCAL, have seen both a male driver and a female passenger. Oof. They've been looking out the window at the helicopters that have been following them.
He's going as high as almost 80 miles per hour on these side streets right now, which is just so dangerous as he's weaving in and out of these intersections and in such a busy part of North Hollywood. You can see him trying to go around a car at an intersection, not stopping. It is always interesting to me in these situations, just from how humans are unpredictable, where he is using his turn signal. Narrowly missed getting hit. That was a very close call, but he appeared in at least the taillights don't appear to be working, but the front, he continues to use his turn signal off and on, which is interesting. But moving through some near misses here, going very fast. I mean, 80 miles per hour on some of these side streets is just so dangerous.
And earlier it did look like at least some of the time he was kind of staying in a lane when there were no other cars around. He's narrowly swerving around cars, but on those open streets he was kind of staying in his lane somewhat. But now it looks like he's becoming even more erratic.
Well, you have to wonder, like we keep talking about, is that, humans are incredibly unpredictable, right, in their behavior. You've got 5 of them potentially in the car. You don't know what the conversations are that are happening. You don't know if one person wants to get out, another person wants to stop, someone else is saying, let's drive to this other place. I mean, I can only imagine what's happening inside the car as this driver is trying to figure out where to go and what to do. Now you can see him backing up, hitting a garbage dumpster, backing up into a driveway, it looks like there, and turning around to get out of, he must have realized he was in a residential area with maybe potentially less areas to get away in this pursuit. But now going the other direction here, still, still trying to get away.
And it seems like he keeps turning back to the Sun Valley, North Hollywood, Studio City area. It started, you said, around Mulholland Drive at the 405?
Well, that's where we had heard that LAPD picked it up. It was at the 405 at Mulholland. And the reason that I think this car turned around just right then, it was a dead-end street. And the air unit actually said, get ready, units. This is a dead-end street. They may try to foot bail, which means get out and run. Now they are in a parking lot. It looks like they're also out of sight of the air unit. I just heard the air unit say they're behind a building. This car went behind a building, and a KCAL as well. Can't see where this vehicle went. It's unclear if there is an entry to a garage here or if they parked and got out.
That looks like the driver out of the car right now.
And then there is the passenger
letting out the other people.
And we can see everyone else coming out now. That's one.
Well, it looks like that could even be a young kid, a teenager or a child, one of those passengers. And this looks like a very crowded area. It looks like they're trying to kind of be discreet by not running, just walking around to blend in or something. But you can see all the cars in that parking lot, and you see all the buildings around it. There must be a lot of people around there.
And I'm unclear, is this a business area or is this an apartment complex? Are they maybe trying to go back to where they live or they've been staying?
This is an apartment complex, and I'm hearing the air unit got very good descriptions, and they said 3 people got out of the car. It's unclear if there were 2 more in there, as we had previously heard. But they are now asking Valley traffic units, to set up a perimeter around this apartment complex. They are vectoring in LAPD officers now in order to try and search this area. But the first thing that they want to do, there is the first units on scene. They are going to be setting up a perimeter of this block, and they are going to go into that apartment complex with the very specific descriptions of those suspects. The air unit did get a good look at them.
It's amazing how calm the 3 of them were when they got out of the car. It's almost like it was a strategy to blend. There you see the units coming up on that area. They know exactly where they're going. But of course, a huge concern about whether this could become a standoff situation and whether that driver or any of those people in the car are armed.
Oh, there goes the driver running now from that apartment complex, running across the street. We saw the female passenger with a blanket in the middle of the apartment complex, but he's now running. The units you see now running after him. And now this is also a dangerous situation because you don't know with how erratic this driver has been. Will he cut in and out? Will he get hit by a car? You see that car just coming up right now into a parking lot. You've got officers running behind.
It looks like an officer is injured there, like hopefully he just tripped or something, but it looked like he was struggling to get up.
It's unclear if that other civilian car was a Good Samaritan or was attempting to stop that person or what was happening there, but it looks like that driver has now run into what looks like perhaps an auto body or a repair store here. And it did appear that officer went down, but I think he may have just caught his foot on the curb, and that's what caused him to fall.
And this is also scary. If it was a robbery or a carjacking, the original crime, we don't know if he could do that again, if he could take someone hostage, if he's armed, if he knows anyone in this business, or if this is just a totally random business, a crime of opportunity where it happened to be a place to run. But you have to worry about the people inside there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There has been no evidence or no indication from the area that they got him. They got him right there. They were able to take him into custody. Now, as for the other 2 people that got out of that car, LAPD, I have not heard any indication from the air commander whether or not any of them have been taken into custody yet.
And it looked like one of them might have been a minor, too. We don't want to speculate, obviously, but it was a female passenger in the front seat and then a male in the back seat who looked like, and that male was blocked from view during the pursuit as well because of whatever was on that car window and the tinted windows in the back.
Yeah, so now obviously we can see that the suspect, the driver, is in custody right now, walking him back to where the units are located. As Mark just talked about, that female passenger as well as the male passenger, we do not know where they are at this point in time. It was so interesting to watch them just so, as you pointed out, Rudabeh, slowly get out of the car and nonchalantly start walking towards the apartment complex. The woman had a blanket in her hand. She had because of the damage it looked like to the window, she had to reach in and open the back seat to let out that male passenger in the back. And we have not gotten any indication if they have found those 2 individuals yet or not, but you can see the male driver is in custody at this point in time. If this is a place that they had been staying or they live, you'd make the assumption that police will be asking the driver very quickly where they could be located within this complex.
So I can tell you also, this has happened so fast, and there has been such an effort to catch these suspects that the air unit just realized that none of their officers have actually approached the car to see if anybody else was still inside. So LAPD officers are now being tasked with approaching that vehicle and clear it. They say, we need someone to clear that vehicle. You can see they want to do that before other people in the area approach it and perhaps contaminate any sort of evidence that may be in that car. I believe those are just 2 civilians that are now out. Perhaps they live or they're staying at this apartment complex here. They're wondering what's going on, not realizing they're standing next to a vehicle that was just involved in a high-speed pursuit. So the air commander is now tasking a few officers to approach that pursuit vehicle to make sure that there's nobody else inside of it.
Well, that's it. You know, bystanders, I know people get so curious and they want to know what's going on. And obviously this is happening, you know, outside where they live, or they were at a business and they want to go. But if police haven't even approached the car yet, it makes you somewhat nervous that people are coming out and shooting video with their cell phones and things, because you don't know if there are other people in the car, if they're potentially armed, or what could be happening there. Of course, we have seen that the driver was placed in custody, but we have not seen the other two. There is the driver.
There's
there.
the passenger. The
Oh,
passenger
you see the
right there is
passenger?
also in custody.
Oh,
So
yes. Okay. In all black.
there may only be one other outstanding suspect here. I believe there may only be one more, if any. So,
Okay.
Oh, that's the female passenger.
Yeah, it's right there in all black, and it looks like red and white tennis shoes. Standing up against the patrol car there. There's the blanket that she took out of the car.
Yeah, a coat or a blanket. Looked like she was wearing that in the passenger seat. You wonder if maybe she was doing that so she would look different after they realized that, you know, they were being followed and that the chopper was getting footage of them. So they are now both in handcuffs, surrounded by police officers. Still one other passenger at least, who we don't see at this moment.
No, and that passenger, when we watch the video playback, he either appears to have a beard or a mask on, something like that. So not quite sure what was happening there. If it's a mask, obviously trying to conceal an identity. If it's a beard, that will be a distinguishing mark for officers to be able to look out for. It looks like we still don't see that third passenger either at this point in time.
yeah, but we did see the driver there. He was having some words with LAPD officers. He seemed very irate and upset. That woman there, that definitely was the passenger. I think it was a puffy white coat that she was wearing. They've got that at the hood of this unit here. They're going to be searching both of these people before they take them over to probably Van Nuys Station Jail, or perhaps the Metropolitan Detention Center downtown. But we're still listening to the air unit say they want to get people away from the pursuit vehicle. There was a civilian that was not involved in this. It was standing far too close for their liking, so they're getting officers over to that car now.
Okay, well, this ended, I guess, in the best possible way, because it could have been a lot of people hurt. There could have been a lot of different scenarios that would have been very dangerous. So we're glad to at least see that these two people are in custody and no bystanders were hurt, as far as we know. All right, in other news, the Federal Aviation Administration has released its preliminary findings on the deadly plane crash in Fullerton yesterday.
2 people died and several others were injured when a plane missed a runway and slammed into a warehouse. KCAL News reporter